Would like to lead off this evening's video by saying a big thank you to everyone for your patience. It is nearly 9 p.m. Eastern Time here in Florida, and this day just absolutely got away from me, but I have a very important video that I think everyone needs to hear. We are only single-digit days, 8 days away from what might be the greatest financial disaster, to ever hit the world. Many people are confusing this with the idea of not passing a budget and government shutdown. Many people think, oh, it's no big deal. They're shoving their head in the sand like an ostrich. This has never happened before. And they're saying this, and nobody's listening to it. What's going on right now? There's no plan for beyond it. It's basically the idea, if you had the ability to raise the credit limit on your own credit cards, and then you were so strapped for cash that you were maxed out on your credit card, so you toss on another whatever many thousands of dollars on your credit card, and then you go immediately and take a cash advance against that new credit, and then pay the minimum payment. That's what's going on right now, and it's to the point now where they can't even tell you when the next time it's going to be, and the amount of money that they have actually on hand is a pittance compared to what's owed. And it did remind me of the Bible saying that in the last days, it'll be as in the days of Noah. You see, there were a lot of people laughing and scoffing back then, marrying, giving in marriage, running around. And when it finally came, people, those who were going to survive, Noah, his wife, 3 sons, and their wives, they had to plan way ahead of time, have an ark. And then God shut that door, and they had to shelter in place. Same thing with the Passover. Now, those of you who are unaware of the story of the Exodus, this was the last of the plagues that hit see if I can speak English tonight. Last of the plagues that hit Egypt. And God said, put blood on the doorposts, go inside, shut the door. Angel of death, when sees blood, will pass over. Now, very strangely, Patriot Nurse, haven't heard from her in a long time, did make a post over at her Patreon channel. And you can follow her over there about taking some time off and still being in the land of the living, so to speak. And she talked about this and needing some time and sheltering in place and just, waiting on the Lord to give instructions. So the Florida Maquis is not the only person who has a Patreon channel. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and make a prediction that if you do hear from the Patriot Nurse again, it'll more than likely be over at Patreon. Now, I'm not sure if she uses Vimeo or not, like we do here at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, but Vimeo, behind a paywall, we do not have to worry about the woke censors because of the way it works. $1 level for all of the training, all of the vast majority of videos. There are hundreds of videos over there, by the way. For the $1 a month, you're not just getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 videos. There are 280 videos, I believe, going back 3, 4, 5 years that you'll have access to all of them. You could sit and watch one a day for almost the next year. 3/4 of a year anyway. And have a new one every single day. So, of course, there's a $5 level now as well by request. And we have a couple of videos up there, and we're going to definitely need to be in communication. Now, the reason I think they're going to go through with this default is because of other things going on. This mass crush of people coming here, trying to get in behind a certain deadline. A lot of people thought it was Title 42. I don't think that's it. I really don't think that's it. I think they're trying to get here for an entirely different reason, and that they want them here. Because make no mistake, every single person you see here will work for half of what you're working for. Now imagine what that would mean to corporate America. To replace every single high-paid American with someone who's willing to work for half. And they'll be happy to work for half. Now, take that, the debt ceiling, and oh, by the way, a lot of people call it an invasion. wouldn't it just be really a reclaiming? The Bible teaches us, thou shalt not steal. Is there an exception for if you're a government and it's, you have bigger guns and it's 150 years ago and nobody cares? Is there an exception to the thou shalt not steal? I get a lot of moral pontificators at this channel about how immoral I am. But they're also flag wavers. And they're also Washington, D.C. Trump worshipers too. So, just saying, we took it from them. And it seemed to be manifest destiny, the moral right thing to do. Why does that not work in two directions? Now, BP Earthwatch, another channel that I watched for a long time, picked up on this story about this massive, huge structure being built by the U.S. government in Beirut, Lebanon. Actually, it's not in Beirut, it's south of there. And he goes on, he does a 10-minute video talking about where the elites are going to escape to. I've had a lot of people come to the channel, Florida Maquis. If they debt default and they stop the Social Security checks and they stop can you imagine the size of the march on DC? Well, no. I mean, no, because it's not going to happen. People that are starving and people that can't pay their bills and people that don't know where their next meal's coming from because they got no money, they don't march on Washington, D.C. That's how you can tell that something is always a fake story when there's a march on Washington, D.C. Because if people have that much extra time on their hands, life really isn't that bad for them. So, anyway, the real BP Earthwatch talks about Earth space, important issues facing civilization. The title of that video 5 days ago, 38,000. It's actually one of his biggest videos, are the elites planning their escape. If you look at his numbers, they kind of mimic mine a little bit. Some are better, some are worse. He's a fantastic musician, by the way. The real BP Earthwatch has a lot of really super, super music. He's an incredible guitar player. So also check that out over here at his channel as well. This is going to be a big deal, and I think there's going to be a dynamic happen that relates to something I've talked about now. Imagine, just if you will, in your mind's eye, close your eyes. It's been a while since you've been able to eat. Things have collapsed. There's no food everywhere, and the food everywhere is super expensive, and you have the clothes on your back, and you have your family, and you can't afford a gasoline, and all of a sudden up ahead you see a sign. You can't really make it out because your eyes are blurry, but you get a little closer, and Cathedral of Our Merciful, for free dinners, everyone, full belly Wednesdays, Tuesdays. That's today, guys. Hurry up, let's go. And then you get there, and there's a whole bunch of people with a sign standing out front, and you're like, oh, fantastic, now we can eat. Oh, what's that sign say? Wait, what? No, what? No. Oh no, I'm not vaccinated. And they say, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I know you look hungry, but for the safety of everyone, I mean, I know you guys could sure use this yummy plate of pasta and sauce and vegetables, but no, a lot of people are going to morally make this leap in their head that, oh yeah, well, I'm not vaccinated, but I'm going to eat anyway. Me and my little friend here are going to make sure that happens. See, I got starving family outside, and morally, this is my right choice. This is what I'm going to do. They're going to look at the food, look at the family starving, look at the food, look at their family starving. And they're going to say, you're going to give me all the food we want, and we're going to be our way. And other people are going to get the same idea too. Now, juxtapose this moral decision at a church giving away free food with the idea of getting caught up in a FEMA camp, which will have the same basic requirement, except you won't have any weapons. It's why I've counseled. The only moral choice you can make is the one that keeps you out of these situations. You see, this whole idea of, see, I'm back up here. See, this is outside the ark. See, this family, this is a scene from Colony, made a whole bunch of decisions that were really bad that that made them give up their home. They could have made decisions that kept them in a home, under a roof, inside four walls, with food and hot running water, the ability to bathe, the ability to sleep in beds, but they didn't. And especially having 3 kids, they made every single decision wrong. And this is what it ended up being. And it was their end. So this is why I made this meme. I don't care what the situation is. If it keeps you under a roof, make that decision. And a lot of people think I focus on the ladies. They're going to be the most vulnerable. But guys, if you got to go and get rid of some things that you thought were for sure absolutely necessary for survival, real survival is going to argue with that. Also, there's a series out called Turn, Washington Spies on AMC. Rewatch that and watch how resistance is actually done. One thing you'll notice is, and this is of course during the Revolution, the U.S. Revolution, these guys, these revolutionaries, never go toe-to-toe with the British with ballistic weapons. They don't. They use other, more subtle techniques, just like the Maquis did in World War II. Why do I talk about this? Florida Maquis, why do you talk about this all the time? Why do you? Because nobody else does. Nobody else has the guts to talk about how the entire moral landscape and fabric of this country is going to change in a way based on need and necessity and desperation. It's not going to be firefights that are going to get you what you need. And there's going to be a lot of judgment out there too. And that's where I think a lot of us need to reconsult the Bible and really listen to what Jesus said. And how even though, he said, sell your cloak and buy a whatever, he also told Peter to put his sword away. Because he who will live by it will die by it. And if you live by judgment, you'll die by it as well. So, anyway, I will leave it there and let anyone have their opinion that they want. But we are really, truly on the precipice. What people have been talking about for decades and decades is now in 2023 coming to pass. We are that close. So pray for each other. Lift each other up. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Join us at Patreon. Very much appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.